Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone, and a good day to all of you. We are from Group 10, and our topic for this video is software testing strategies. This is what the summary would look like, and at the end, we would be having a live demo of what testing looks like using Ruby on Rails, which is a back-end framework for our module. What is testing and why exactly do we need it? Testing is about ensuring that finally when we ship our products or when we roll out software to our end users, that there are no errors, that the performance is met, that the quality is up to standards. And the process of ensuring all of this is up to standard is what we call testing. In the process of testing, we can look at errors, we can see if requirements are met, technical requirements are met, technical performance is up to standard, and finally that the quality is up to mark. The strategy for all of this is quite simple. When we do testing, there are two people involved. One can be the developer, the other can be an independent testing agency. Developers often test software that is small scale, and general testing is done that focuses on delivery. However, when it comes to large scale softwares, we have independent testing agencies that does extreme amounts of testing to ensure that quality is not compromised. The strategy for all of this is to start small. You start in the atomic level and you move outwards, where a lot of technical reviews are done. And this is where the discussion of unit testing, integrated testing, and all of the other testing methods come into play. What are the important aspects? Verification and validation. Verification is about questioning ourselves as if we are building the product right. Are we ensuring that the functions are right? Validation is to ensure that if we are building the right product, because if we don't build what the customers want, then there's no point of building that software. And that is where validation comes to play. But what is the big picture? The rapid change in the industry and how software testing fits in is very, very important to understand, because it's about staying relevant. Because right now, frequent releases and short development cycles have become the industry standards. Because of high demand, we have to ensure that we are able to meet what the customers want in a short period of time. This has increased the threshold and standard for what testing is. It also has introduced new testing types, like for example security testing and usability testing, which we have upgraded from a lot before. Also, testing automation has become an integral part of software development, where you have a lot of companies that set up workflows where you can pipe in your code and ensure that you meet all the testing mechanisms. With the advent of big data and with the increased amount of big data, there needs to be more testing done towards this. Even IoT testing has become an integral part of the developer life cycle. Real-time data needs to be tested to ensure that our product, our software is working and within the industry standards. This is an example of what GitHub's testing automation workflows look like. This is what AWS automation workflows and testing mechanisms look like. And this is extremely important as developers or a software engineering team. Now more about unit software testing.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Athiya, and today I'm going to be talking about some of the strategies of software testing. One of these is unit testing. Unit testing is applied on the smallest component or the smallest individual unit of a software. This is the very first level of software testing, after which comes integration testing. It is usually has a few of the inputs and gives out a single output. Alright, this can be also performed using the white box testing method. About the benefits of unit testing. Why we use unit testing is because, like, if we find a unit which has a specific code, if we find a defect in the code, we will immediately know the problem and where the problem lies. This makes it cost efficient, makes it reusable, it makes the process of finding a bug much more easier. The next comes for integration testing. When all these units are put together and they form the entire system, they make a whole software, this is known as integration testing. Integration testing is quite important as it exposes the faults of the interaction between these units. When the units come together, they should be able to function all together as a system. For this, we can use the white box testing method or the gray box testing method or even the black box testing method. Integration testing can be done with the help of the following approaches, the most popular of which are the top-down and the bottom-up approach. In the top-down approach, the top-level modules can be tested by the help of stubs that are present in the bottom tiers of the software, and vice versa for the bottom-up approach. The sandwich approach is where There will be a combination of both the top-down and the bottom-up approach.
Now let's talk about object-oriented testing. But before that, we know that software testing is a process of executing a program or application with the intent of finding the software bugs. So therefore, it can be stated that the process of validating and verifying that a software program or application or a product is object-oriented testing. The few requirements for this testing are it should meet the business and technical requirements that guided its design and development, and it works as expected. Therefore, the testing of a software is an important means of assessing the software to determine its quality. Now, moving forward to need for object-oriented testing. As we know, and it's written in the slides, in object-oriented softwares, classes provide an excellent structuring mechanism and classes support information hiding. Also, object-oriented testing encourages and supports software reuse. This may be achieved either through the simple reuse of a class in a library or via inheritance, whereby a new class may be created as an extension of an existing one. Now, one of the most important questions is when to test. We should start testing at reasonable points during the analysis and design phases of a project. Testing should be performed on every iteration of the development process. Also, postponing tests towards the end of the project should be utterly avoided. As you can see, OOT has been categorized into two types. Number one is black box and number two is white box. Black box is also known as functional testing, where the program's internal structure is not known, whereas white box, which is also known as structural testing, is where the internal structure of the program is known and examined. Here we talk about OOT's types, which are as follows. Number one is method testing. Number second is class testing. Number third is integration testing. Number fourth is system testing. And number fifth is regression testing. Few of these testings would be described by my fellow group mates ahead in the slide.
Let's talk about mobile apps testing strategy. To ensure the usability, efficiency, and security of the mobile apps, some testing strategy are applied. Usability test. Usability testing justify that by using this app, will the users achieve their goal or not? Device compatibility testing. Mobile apps must be tested for compatibility with each mobile operating system such as iOS, Windows, and Android. There will be different versions of apps for each operating system. One of the most important tests of the mobile apps is the performance testing. It ensures the mobile app regarding the speed. It examines the mobile apps regarding the speed, battery uses, and memory uses, and the low-level resources. Security testing is the most crucial testing for mobile apps. Since the mobile malware is increasing day by day, it ensures that the mobile apps is not sharing any privacy or security requirements of its users, especially for the apps related to the online banking, online shopping, and social media. Lastly, connectivity testing. It ensures that the apps can be usable with any network such as Wi-Fi and mobile networks such as 3G, 4G, and 5G. Continuous testing is ensure that the latest update and the features of the mobile apps.
Unit test is a test to verify the behavior of the smallest component of the software applications. If the application is written in object-oriented programming languages, the smallest component would be a class or an object. So in this example, we're going to be looking at the resident class. So one simple requirement can be to not allow any empty strings for any of the attributes. So we can write the test to make sure the empty strings are not being allowed when creating a new resident. So right now, if you run the test fails because right now empty names are being allowed. So we can write the code to implement what is in the test. So in this case, disallowing any empty names. So this line of code enforces the presence of the name strings. So now if you run the test, it should pass because right now empty names are not being allowed. So we can do the same for rest of the attributes. After writing a few unit tests, we can move on to integration tests. Integration tests are tests that usually involve more than two classes to cooperate with each other to achieve a desired functionality. So in this application, right now it cannot add a new resident. So we can go to new form and fill in the details, but it cannot add, we cannot do anything even after we press register. So we can try writing a sample integration test for this new behavior for the application. So the behavior we want is when the registration is successful, then the new resident should be added to the database. So just now it didn't do that, and we have the test here, and if we run it, it's gonna fail because we haven't written the implementation. So it says here, the fail to add new resident. So the code here is responsible for adding a new resident. So after this, the other test should pass. So as you can see, integration test involved more classes than unit test. This one involved a resident class, also the resident controller class, and also involved handling of the routing of HTTP requests.